as per scheduled time. We are going to begin now. Good afternoon, friends and professionals. Before we start the program, let me take you through the process and route for receiving an e-certificate of this program. An e-certificate of participation will be provided only to those participants who will attend and participate in this virtual dialogue for at least 30 minutes of the entire duration and successful submission of e-feedback verified by team of observers on Zoom platform. The decision of the observers will be final and no clarification in this regard will be made by the organizing team. Also, the query regarding the same will be addressed, which you can mail at info.apswdp@gmail.com. E-certificate of the program will be mailed on your registered mail ID between 20th and 25th of September 2022. On behalf of our chief mentors, Dr. Sangeeta Pant, Dean, Chitkara College of Education, and Mr. Vivek Trivedi, founder and principal advisor, I, Dr. Vani Parvez, assistant professor, cum outreach synergist, Chitkara College of Education, the convener and moderator of the program, feel honored and privileged to welcome our guest speakers of the day, Ms. Supriya Salaria, Senior Manager, Life Sciences, Significant LLP, and Mr. Nitesh Kumar Gulati, Honorable Director General, APSWDP, to commemorate World Ozone Day 2022 today on 16th of September to a virtual dialogue aligned with a worldwide theme on global cooperation, protecting life on Earth. We are very delighted to witness the deliberation from our distinguished speakers on the subject. It is indeed our pleasure to welcome the august gathering of participants from varied occupations, including academicians, business consultants, corporate sector professionals, corporate social responsibility professionals, development practitioners, entrepreneurs, government officers, public health experts, legal practitioners, researchers, social activists, students, and others. World Ozone Day is celebrated on 16th of September every year across the world. This day is also known as the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. World Ozone Day is observed to create awareness among people to protect the ozone layer depletion and its needs. The ozone layer protects us by absorbing the harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun. The layer gets depleted and the world is making continuous efforts to protect. The harmful UV radiation coming from the sun causes cancer, snow blindness, skin aging, cataract, and other afflictions which affect human health badly. Every year, we sustain and high temperatures that are especially for the Arctic Circle, Canada, Scandinavia, to North Africa, India, Japan, and India. Iran, Japan, and India also. Chemicals like chlorine and bromine atoms that are released into the atmosphere due to certain activities disturb the ozone layer. The United Nations General Assembly declared 16th September as the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer in 1994. However, the Montreal Protocol was signed in 1987, and attempts to provide an official stamp on importance of the contract were made in 1995 regarding the same. The protocol, which aims the usage of ozone-depleting chemicals, was ratified by all 197 members of the UN. To save the ozone layer from depletion and to protect human life from the adverse effects of UV rays, World Ozone Day is celebrated worldwide. Programs, campaigns, rallies, for commemorating World Ozone Day 2022, Chitkara College of Education, Chitkara University is organizing a virtual dialogue in partnership with Association of Professional Social Workers and Development Practitioners, Significant LLP, and the Climate World Ozone Day 2022 to be marked on 16th of September is observed under Montreal Protocol at the rate 35 with the theme Global Cooperation Protecting Life on Earth. The theme recognizes the wider impact the Montreal Protocol has on climate change and the need to act in collaboration, forge partnership, and develop global cooperation to address today's challenges and protect life on Earth for future generations. That was a brief background about the program. I hear some noises. I request everybody to please be on mute before we invite the guest speaker. Thank you very much. So let's invite our first guest speaker or the resource person for today. Miss Supriya Salaria is Senior Manager, Life Sciences of Significant LLP. She's leading 20 plus person global team responsible for promoting environment sustainability through efficient resource use and product development, amongst others. She holds a master's degree in biotechnology from Punjab University, Chandigarh, and is very well versed with ensuring communications and sustainability aligned with business objectives. She has an experience of more than 9 years in the IB field. She has undertaken many challenging projects related to life sciences and pharmaceutical. She is proficient in handling patent-related services, including technology scouting, competitive intelligence, white space analysis, and patent portfolio. He is sustainability expert in plastics, polymers, food and cosmetic innovation, and has worked with Fortune 100 companies at Significant. Ma'am, we are very happy to have you with us today, and we extend a very hearty welcome to you. And I request you to please take over and please enlighten us all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vani, for the beautiful introduction. And I would like to thank APSWDP, Chitkara University, the Climate Reality Project, and of course, my organization, Significant LLP, for allowing me to share my thoughts over this internationally concerned issue of ozone layer depletion. And I'm hereby to present the insights and how we can, play important role in protecting the ozone layer. And I'll be continuing with my screen. So before proceeding, I just would like to ask, my screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible and you're audible as well.
Thank you so much. Dr. Vani, I'm unable to move my slides, so I'll be resharing it again. Just give me a moment.
Sure, ma'am, no problem.
So I really hope you can see my screen, Dr. Vani.
Yes, ma'am, we can. I'm sorry, there's a barcode here, but we can see your screen. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. We can
Yeah.
see your screen, ma'am.
Sure. So yes, this presentation will give you a brief overview on ozone layer depletion, protection, and recovery, the steps that we can take as a civilized people to protect our ozone layer, and recent steps that can be considered for future generations in order to protect this layer, and what all latest innovations are there to monitor this ozone layer protection. So this presentation will be covering each and every detail related to the layers of atmosphere, what exactly the ozone layer is made up of, and all the reasons behind the ozone depletions in terms of the gases and the ozone depleting compounds which are responsible for its depletion. Further, I'll be discussing all the effects over the human beings, over the nature, and how we can contribute towards the depletion that can be, diminished at to some level. So that, of course, will be discussed. And finally, what innovations are there in the area of ozone layer protection will duly be discussed. So I'll be just taking up the Montreal Protocol, the first protocol that came into the existence regarding the environmental agreement. So it was adopted on 16th of September 1987 just to control the production and consumption of ozone depleting substances. So the term ozone depleting substances itself covers more than 100 of the chemicals that are usually pertaining in our environment. And as a count, there are more than 198 countries that are member to this particular agreement. So when we are talking about an agreement, it must be having a lot of articles. So hereby, I'll be just discussing few of the articles that are talking about the ozone layer depleting chemicals. So the article 2 will be talking about the control measures of the compounds. For example, here you'll be seeing that what are the protective measures for chlorine as well as for bromine and other halogen atoms that are being used in variety of products like fire extinguishing agents and the sprays, aerosol forms. There would be another article, that is Article 3, which is talking about the calculation of control levels, and it determines the various ozone depleting substances based on their consumption and their generation for imports and export. And finally, the Article 5, which is specifically meant for the adverse situation that is prevailing among the developing countries. So, for a developing country, an annual consumption of controlled substance should be less than 0.3 kg per capita as per the Montreal Protocol. So, this protocol is specifically meant for all the ozone depleting substances that are to be used in a controlled amount. As we move further, and before discussing the ozone, I would like to introduce and to highlight the layers of atmosphere before discussing the ozone layer. There are 5 layers of atmosphere. I'll start with the troposphere, stratosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So first, I'll be talking about the troposphere. As you can see, it is the nearest layer to the Earth, and here it is just 11 miles away from the Earth. And here the temperature, the mass percentage can be seen. And here the most of the greenhouse gases are usually captured in this layer. And the trapping of the greenhouse gases like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide is the reason that it will actually lead to the depletion of the next layer, that is ozone layer, which exists in the stratosphere. Stratosphere is just 11 to 30 miles away from the Earth, and the temperature here is around minus 15 to 51 degrees Celsius. And here is the layer that ozone exists, which blocks 99% of UV rays, and it actually protects human body from the effects of the UV rays. Next is the mesosphere, which is 30 to 50 miles away from the Earth. And here the temperature range is around 15 to 100 degrees Celsius. So this layer is specifically the layer where the destruction of meteors or the asteroids will take place that falls on the Earth. And when we are talking about thermosphere, it is somewhere near around 50 miles to 620 miles away. And it is considered to be the hottest layer because the temperature here can ranges from minus 100 degrees Celsius to 2000 degrees Celsius. It is actually very thin layer, and it is the layer where the space shuttles, satellites would work. And it is considered to be hottest, as I said. The final layer would be the exosphere, which is 1000 to 190,000 kilometer away from the Earth. And here the temperature would be somewhere around less than 1700 degrees Celsius. So it is considered to be the transitional medium to the zone which is under the influence of gravity. So as the temperature increases with the increase in the altitude. So The purpose behind discussing the layers of atmosphere is to just understand that how atmosphere is lying and how ozone is present in which layer and how it is working. So the next So here the ozone layer is being introduced as a shield of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. It contains high concentration of ozone, which is less than 10 ppm in comparison to the other parts of atmosphere. The function of ozone is very well known to us that it provides a shield and it is a protective layer that prevents from the harmful rays of UV, specifically the UVB, which is from the reaching to the earth. And it has been linked to the many harmful effects of skin cancer, like various other problems of related to crops or related to marine life. Exactly. Further, there are various reasons like why the ozone is being depleted. So these reasons are not limited just to the solvents, not to the air conditioned usages, unregulated rocket launches. When we are talking about all these conditions, the first one is the unregulated rocket launch. We can see that the diesel or the generally the fuel that is being used for the ignition purpose is highly unregulated. It is rich in chlorofluorocarbons or hydrochlorofluorocarbons that causes huge loss to ozone layer, and that might result to a huge depletion of ozone layer by the year 2050 if this unregulation goes like this only. Next thing which is of interest is aerosol and the fire extinguishers. So when we are using aerosols and fire extinguishers, they are highly rich in the halogens, specifically the bromines and the chlorines one. So when the bromine and chlorine comes in contact with the UV rays, it gets highly reactive in nature, and that's how it reacts with the ozone molecule and leads to the depletion for the same. Apart from this, the air conditioning system, the coolants that we're using in our ACs, in our refrigerators, even in our vehicles, are responsible for the depletion of ozone layer. Some other natural reasons like volcanic eruptions leads to the release of huge amount of sulfur dioxide, and that is responsible for converting chlorine into the more reactive forms. Apart from this, when we are talking about the solvents, there are various mist, sprays, aerosols, particulate forms that we are regularly using in our day-to-day life, right from the detergents, laundries, everything is highly rich in these chlorofluorocarbons or the reactive molecules. Now we'll talk about the gases which are responsible for ozone depletion. The first one is the chlorofluorocarbons, as we have already discussed that when it comes in the contact with the UV rays, it becomes highly reactive and it further depletes ozone molecules. So the sources of chlorofluorocarbons and the hydrochlorofluorocarbons are the directly, transfer from the ACs, the coolants that we are currently using. But when we are talking about the nitrogen dioxide, the nitric oxide, these are the chemicals or the gases which get released from the usage of fertilizers or the pesticides that are being used in the area of, agriculture that needs to be controlled. We need to look for the alternative solutions that can replace all these chemical or the gases that are existing in our nature and depleting ozone layer badly. The another gas which is responsible is methyl bromide. This molecule or this compound is very stable in troposphere, but when it gets degraded or break down into the chlorine or bromine, when it comes into the contact of UV rays, it becomes highly reactive, and that leads to the depletion of ozone layer. Finally, the carbon tetrachloride, as we discussed that it is being used as a cleaning agent in laundries, in detergent, it is highly toxic in nature and it is contributing 10 to 15% of depletion for ozone layer. Now there comes the need and the effects of ozone depletion among all of us. So in year 2021, we got a news from the scientist of NASA that there's a ozone hole over the South Pole, and South Pole is covering the maximum area of Antarctica, which is completely surrounded by the ocean, and it has been range the 13th largest since 1979, the largest hole over the Antarctica region. That is a matter of concern and it needs to be seriously addressed. Apart from this ozone hole is nothing but the thinning of ozone layer among over a particular mass density area, and it is considered to be a affecting it is considered to have a bad effect over the layers or over the people that are living there. And in addition to that, if we are talking about the effects of ozone depletion, not only to the humankind, but there is a reduction in crop production because the level of crop destruction and the spoilage which is occurring due to the ozone depletion is really unmatchable. Next, it leads to the death of marine plants. Firstly, the phytoplankton. It is on the water surface and it is having no barrier against the UV radiation, and hence it is responsible. The effects on these phytoplanktons are really severe. Death of phytoplankton could lead to the death of the small fishes, aquatic creatures, and this depletion has the capacity to kill the small marine creatures in addition to the fishes that are very small. Plus, it leads to the disruption of marine food chain, which is a matter of concern. Apart from crop production, it has severe effects on the human beings, like it is creating a severe skin diseases in the form of the skin aging, skin cancer, sunburn, atopic dermatitis, or the cataract one. It causes the immune deficiency and it leads to the severe diseases among all of us. Now there is a question that comes into the mind. We have discussed about the effects, we have discussed about the compounds that are responsible for the ozone depletion. Now there comes the question, how can we contribute as a civilized person to reduce ozone depletion? We can use CFC free coolants because one of the coolant that has been identified in the era is ethylene glycol, which can possibly replace the CFC, and it can be used in mixture with other coolants also. And it can it can lead to a helping hand towards protecting the ozone layer. Next thing, there's a lot of buzz about the electric vehicles. So electric vehicles are found to be an eco-friendly solution and they are equipped with eco-friendly air conditioners. So this can also lead to a possible protection of ozone as well. We can minimize the use of ACs wherever it is possible. We can look for the other alternatives like fans, other areas where we can replace these coolants with some other possible components. And finally, the chemical-free aerosols. As we discussed about the aerosol sprays, deodorants, perfumes, so they are already enriched with the chlorines, bromine, alcohol. So we can definitely look for the organic solutions which are phthalate, sulfate, and these are chemical-free. So this can obviously contributed from our side. Here, I'll be just discussing few of the recent steps that have been considered. The first example is the integrated ozone depletion metric, and it has been contributed and developed by the researchers at National Center for Atmospheric Sciences at the University of Cambridge. And similar innovation has been held at University of Thailand too. So here, this metric provides a useful tool to measure the effects of unregulated emissions of substances like the all ozone depleting chemicals that will lead to the depletion of ozone layer. And they will generally check the three parameters. The first parameter would be the strength of emission, how much emission has been done, how long it will remain in the atmosphere, and how much ozone layer is chemically destroyed by it. The another particular step that has been taken up is regarding the infrared atmospheric sounding system, and it is an interferometer, which has been developed just to ensure and to check the variability of ozone layer in the troposphere as well as in the stratosphere in future, to monitor the long term replenishment of the ozone layer or the healing effect of the ozone layer. So here the various models that are working, multivariate regression models have been developed, which are working on geophysical drivers such as solar energy, solar flux. So these parameters will be considered in order to analyze this particular trend. And it will lead to the positive trend that how much ozone depletion has been done in the upper stratosphere and how much time it will take to recover. So it will also tell us about the negative trend in the troposphere among the latitudes that have been discussed. This is an innovation in the area of ozone layer protection. So this is an atmospheric chemistry experiment satellite data, which is capable of providing infrared spectral atlas and the polar mesospheric clouds. So basically, it will check three types of data, like what is the quality of, what is the content of nitric acid trihydrate when we are talking about the clouds, because nitric acid has been considered as an ozone depletion compound. What is the content of sulfuric or the nitric acid there? Plus, it will check the clouds, plus the smoke and the fire aerosol sulfates that are present there. This spectra has been modeled using various constants, optical constants specifically, by using the particles that are derived from the solar emission. Here, the primary mission is to study ozone in the stratosphere and the upper layer, just to check the additional achievements. So this particular model has already identified and measured 44 ozone depleting gases and the changes, the variation among all the greenhouse gases concentration, which are the primary cause of this climate change. In addition to this, when these particular chemicals react with the ozone layer, the level that has been filtered by this particular tool is somewhere around 0.52 to 1.0 micrometers. So this much level of depth it can go and it can profile for the same. So we have discussed about all the effects, what is ozone layer, how it is being situated, what are the layers of atmosphere, and how people are taking initiatives to protect the layer. We have even discussed about the innovations that are working among the universities, among the areas. Now the question comes, like, if we want to contribute towards the prevention as a preventive measure to ozone depletion, what we can expect in the coming years. See, there are various articles and the various news reports that if we allow ozone to, replenish, it can heal, because nature has the power to heal itself. So ozone can heal itself by the year 2050 if we have controlled emissions and we strictly follow this Montreal Protocol. But we need to control the chlorine bromine reaction emissions that destroys our stratospheric zone very badly. Once these catalytic reactions are being controlled, we can definitely expect this layer to heal, and definitely we need to take care the preventive measures for the same. Now the question comes, like, how ozone is expected to change in the coming years, how Montreal Protocol controls ozone depleting substances in Earth's climate, how ozone is distributed among all over the globe, how these reactions can be controlled at our level. So if we are talking about the ozone, total ozone volume that has been reported in this Dobson units denoted as DU, the typical values are vary between 200 to 500 DU over the globe, and it is average abundant among about 300 DU. So this is the average amount of ozone which is distributed all over the globe, and we just need to maintain this amount. And the next thing, about when we are talking about the Montreal Protocol, which controls the ozone depleting substances, yes, the countries, the nations that are extensively following this protocol, they have achieved the substantial reduction in emissions of all ozone depleting substances over last 2 decades, and people have data for the same. These reductions, while protecting the ozone layer, have the additional benefit of reducing the human contribution to the climate change. So I'll end this session over the pointer that what we need to think, how we can contribute, because this is a need of our, and it is a matter of concern that we need to think about how we can protect our ozone layer, because it need to be protected for the future generations. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Supriya ma'am. That was really, really informative, very educating. Immense detailed learning experience that we've had from you. Thank you so much. And I must also appreciate, the whys and how we can, preserve our ozone layer. That is utmost importance, and you've shared us the ways and means to do so. And also, I must appreciate the PPT, the one that you've made is really, really beautiful, very extensive. It's very beautiful. And
Thank you
we've
so much.
learned a lot from you today, ma'am. And we are very glad to share that we have more than 100 participants in this session today. So, we are spreading the word across to preserve the ozone layer, which is of utmost importance. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our second guest speaker for today, Mr. Hitesh Kumar Gulati, who is Honorable Director General with Association of Professional Social Workers and Development Practitioners, Chandigarh. He's a certified climate reality leader by the Climate Reality Project India, trained by Nobel laureate and former US President Mr. Al Gore at Climate Reality Leadership Corps virtual training in July 2020. He's also a certified master trainer under Green Campus program organized by Climate Reality Project India. A human capitalist, capital transformation and change management consultant with 21 years of diversified experience in HR transformation projects, process and product development, gap analysis, research projects, mentorship, training and report writing consultation. Mr. Hitesh has been adding values as a co-committee member of different boards to various organizations, including Chandigarh Group of Colleges, IIT Roper, SCPI Mohali, TIE, Chandigarh SAC, Chandigarh Management Association, APS WGB, and Prasan Shades Foundation. He's also a resource person with central government, state government, and local government bodies. We are very, very honored and privileged to have Mr. Budati with us today. We definitely are very honored to have such a learned person with us. And I request Mr. Budati to please take over. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Vani, and especially for the heavy words that you have used. I am not that much learned, I would say. Still, this is a learning phase for me also, and
You're
I
very
hope so. The learning should not stop for anybody in any part of our particular life, and this is the way we all grow in our life, right? And a very means well presented by Supriya on. This World Ozone Day, and I think she was quite crisp and clear in sharing her presentation in such a well stipulated time,
Thank
right?
you so much,
So,
sir.
yeah. So, Supriya, it was pleasure listening to you, and as I always say, we all are students for lifetime. So, I have been assigned a homework of doing a quiz today on World Ozone Day 2022 that we were deciding amongst our organizing team this time. So there are two simple questions on World Ozone Day that we have kept, and one of the answers was already there in one of the slides of Supriya,
Oh,
and another is a subjective question, but again, all the answers were there in that presentation which was given by Supriya Salaria, right? So here comes the link in your chat box, and the best part, Dr. Vani, today is that we have 25 more minutes so that we have enough time for the quiz as well as for question answers. So here comes the link in the chat
Um,
box.
Sorry
Yes,
to
yes,
interrupt you,
yes.
sir. I would like to ask all the participants, is sir audible? Is it loud and clear to everybody? Because it's not to me. Maybe, I mean, I just want to cross check because maybe I have some network issues.
Yes, because I can clearly hear this, sir.
You can
There's no,
clearly, okay,
yeah,
everybody can hear? Great, wonderful, because I
that's
just
fine.
want to cross check because, all the instruction that sir is giving, these are important. So I'm very glad. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wani. So here is the link for that particular quiz. And if you can just open that quiz and start answering your two questions. First question is on ozone layer and second is a subjective question. So let me also share that screen with all of you.
Sir, are you here with us? Can others hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
Yes, yes.
think there's a weakness, there's a network issue with Hitesh, sir. Maybe he should be joining in soon. In the meanwhile, I request everyone that to please check your chat box. We have shared an e-feedback form and it's linked with all of you. I request to please fill in that feedback form till the time Sir joins back. So Sir is going to conduct a quiz with all of you about the ozone, World Ozone Day. So till the time he joins back, we have shared the link of e-feedback form in the chat box. Kindly fill in that e-feedback form. And also, sir Mr. Hitesh has already sent a link, has already shared a link in the chat box for the quiz. You may also click on that. I'll just get in touch with Hitesh, sir. So I just had a word with Mr. Gulati. There's a network issue. He's actually outside somewhere. So he's joining us again. In the meanwhile, I request everyone to please fill in the e-feedback form for today's event. And after that, you may also click on the link shared by Hitesh, sir, about the menti.com, and you can start answering your questions there. I request Avni ma'am to kindly share the e-feedback link form again, please. I'm getting some messages that they're not able to see the e-feedback form. I request ma'am to please share the e-feedback form in the chat box again. Yes, sharing it again, Shikha.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I'm checking.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm sorry, there are some network issues at my end. Dr. Wani.
Welcome back, Mr. Gulati. Thank you, and nice to have you back again with us. We understand there's some network issues, so in the meanwhile, we circulated the e-feedback form with all the participants. Over to you, sir.
Right. Just give me a minute. Let me
Sure,
open the
sir.
Mentimeter quiz once again.
The network bandwidth is low, actually.
Yeah. So I hope, Dr. Wani, that quiz link is still there in that chat box. Or
The
do you
quiz
want me?
link was put in the chat box, sir. Would you like to put it again?
I'll put it again.
Sure, sir.
So here comes the link on in the chat box now. And let me present the screen of Mentimeter so that you'll be able to see what all responses everybody is giving there. Can you give me host rights once again, Dr. Vani?
Sure, sir. Just give me a moment, sir. Just
Right. Right. I'm just switching off my video so that
Get
we
it
are
done,
able.
sir.
Okay, I'm switching off my video so that I'm able to use the bandwidth for a proper, you can say, communication with you all. So I'm switching off the video and I'll be on audio now. And let me share the screen. Again, it's saying host disabled participant screen sharing. And sincere apologies to all of you for keeping you waiting.
Hitesha, we've made you the co-host now.
Right.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I hope you are also able to see the screen now.
Yes, we are able to see the screen now. So over to
On,
you.
on a lighter note, you all had the answers. वो कहते हैं ना, we all are Indians here, so I can say फर्रा सबके पास पहले ही था, so we have answered it almost rightly. 10% are now saying exosphere, which is extending up to a height of 1,000 to 1,90,000 miles from the Earth's surface. So let us hear more responses and then I'll be sharing the right response. But I have already given a hint to everybody. So people who have listened might be able to judge what is the right answer. So I'm closing the voting for question number 1. Okay, I'll wait for another 2-3 minutes because we have 11 responses and let us have at least 25 responses and then we'll move to the question number 2. Seems Dr. Vani, nobody else is interested in giving the answers. I hope all of you had a very heavy lunch. So that is the reason you don't want to take some time to give answers for that.
Yes, sir.
I request all other members who have joined us to please respond. It's good to see one more response, 12 responses. More responses coming in.
Some of them are saying the Mentimeter is not showing the next slide.
Because I have not stopped voting for question number 1. That is the reason it's not showing the next slide.
They finished first question and they're looking forward to attempt the second one also. They're very eager to attempt that.
Right. So let me stop the voting for question number 1.
Sure, sir.
Let me stop this screen and I'll take you to the next screen. I'm just stopping the share for question number 1 and then I'll take you to question number 2. Just give me a minute. Dr. Vani and everybody present here, I'm sorry for this delay in showing you the question number 2 because again this network problem at my end. It's my system is running a bit slow.
Problem, sir. I think they're all attempting the second question. So
Okay.
we will wait, sir.
Right.
I'm also literally concentrating and understanding what you are saying. So excuse me if I am not able to, I miss out on something.
No issue.
I hope all the participants are able to hear sir clearly and are attempting the second question of the Menti-Mentor form, because your results will be shown here by sir shortly. And we understand it's a subjective one and you are taking time. So please take your time, and after that, sir will share the screen.
So thank God the second question is subjective one. So this network issue.
Okay, sir. So some of them are saying can't see the second question. It's not visible. So, okay, what do we do, sir? Would you like to share the form again, the link again?
I'm just sharing the screen once again.
So there are many people who are saying the question number 2 is still not visible.
I'm just showing it to you, all of you right now. Just give me a minute.
Okay. The
Because
participants,
I have stopped screen sharing. That is the reason. Might be they are not able to see. So let me share the screen once again. And
yes, sir.
here comes the question number 2 on your screen.
Sure, sir. Please share the link once again, and the question is right on the screen for all of you.
Link is already there in the chat box. They can scroll and they can see. Means the link is already there in the chat.
Yeah, the link is already there. I request everyone to please, click on the link again and try filling in question number 2 if you can. In case you still face an issue, then we'll try and share the link again.
Yeah, the voting is open for question number 2.
All right, so we are getting some messages in the chat box that because of some network issues, some of them, the meeting ended for them and the chat is deleted. So
No
I
issues. I'm pasting the message or the link once again.
appreciate. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, all those people who are messaging me directly about the link, please, sir has shared the link again. Kindly click on it.
So good to see responses flowing in now. So Dr. Vani, it is already 3:20.
Yes, sir.
And let us get this screen filled up with at least 9 or 10 responses, and then I'll stop with quiz questionnaire here itself, because we need to finish the program on time at 3:30. It is
Sure,
good
sir.
to
We,
see,
we should
yeah.
be able to.
So it is good to see the responses from all dear participants who are saying that we have to use e-vehicle increase in plantation also. One is we need to plant more trees. Secondly, less pollution is required using electric cars and avoid using ACs, aerosols. So it is good to see that all of you have a fair idea about how we can reduce the harmful UV rays on this World Ozone Day. So I'll conclude with one simple thought that let's take this particular slide as an oath for ourselves that we pledge that we'll be reducing the harmful UV rays on this World Ozone Day by following some of the steps which are mentioned here on the screen. So this is all from my side because I don't want to take much of your time. It's already 3:21. Over to you, Dr. Wani. I hope I was audible, Dr. Wani.
Yes, sir, you are. I would request everyone, those who haven't filled in the feedback form, kindly fill in the feedback form. We'll give you 2 minutes to fill in the feedback form. I request Afni ma'am or Gurpreet ma'am to kindly put it in the chat box again so that everybody can fill in the feedback form before we actually close this session and say a word of thanks to our speakers and all the participants. We'll give you 2 minutes to fill in the feedback form. Thank you for sharing again. The feedback form is right in the chat box. I request everyone to fill in the feedback form. We still have some time with us. All right, I'm getting messages that the feedback form has been filled by maximum participants. Thank you so much. Now I would like to give a word of thanks to our respected speakers for today. So we express our heartfelt gratitude to our guest speakers, Ms. Supriya Sadaria and Mr. Hitesh Kumar Kodati, who shared their knowledge and wisdom in the virtual program on global cooperation protecting life on Earth while commemorating the World Ozone Day 2022. We are inspired by the deliberations of our guest speakers on global cooperation protecting life on Earth. I hope you all agree that it was a privilege to listen to both our guest speakers and the quiz that has been conducted by Mr. Gulati was very, very interesting. And it also gave a view or an understanding that the subject has been well conceived by all of you. So the special quiz by our guest speaker with his vast experience in community-driven development, administration, and change management was beautifully designed in a way where he took us all on a journey to make efforts for saving the Earth's surface from harmful UV rays by awakening and devoting time for preserving, the promoting gardening and plantation to minimize pollution, stopping the use of chlorofluorocarbons, containing materials such as cosmetics, hairspray, fresheners, and other products, using environment-friendly fertilizers for agricultural purposes, preferring electric vehicles or others that do not harm the environment, do not burn plastics and rubber materials that create poisonous smoke in the environment, and lastly, spread awareness among people to make our environment safe and healthy and also preserve our ozone layer. It surely is a very important day today because we talk about ozone protection, preservation, because we are already facing the global changing, global warming, and we are facing it across. So it becomes our responsibility to get educated, to educate others, as well as make deliberate efforts to protect our ozone layer. So dear friends and professionals, an event like this requires meticulous planning and an eye for detail. Sincere thanks to our mentors and guide, Dr. Niyati Chitkara, Director, Chitkara International School, Dr. Sangeeta Pant, Dean, Chitkara College of Education, Chitkara University, Mr. Vivek Trivedi, Founder and Advisor, APSWDP, Dr. Sumit Arora, President, APSWDP, Ms. Rekha Trivedi, Secretary General, APS and the Climate Rally, Ms. APSWDP, Mr. Harit Mohan, Founder and CEO, Significant LLP, Mr. Deepak Kumar, Head Operations, Significant LLP, Mr. Aditya Pudi, Director, India and South Asia at the Climate Reality Project, India, Mr. Bhavesh Swami, Lead Clean Energy Policy and Engagements. The Climate Reality Project, India, for the visionary leadership and endowing the team to execute the dialogue meticulously. Special thanks to the organizing team members comprising of Mr. Rajiv Kumar and Mr. Gulshan Mata for their significant efforts. Inclusive planning and timely implementation of the virtual program on World Ozone Day. Heartfelt gratitude and a grand applause to all of you for showing your keen interest in this event, without which none of us would have come this far. All participants make sure to fill and submit your e-feedback form, and the link is still in the chat box. You will fill it again. I would also like to share it with all the participants through our different WhatsApp groups. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again to our guest speakers for today. And I see Mr. Hitesh hand is risen. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Please switch on your videos for a group photograph.
I'm sorry. I request everyone to please switch on your camera. So let's take a group picture. Is that what you said, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you,
And-
everyone. Please switch on your camera. So let's take a group picture.
Since we have 90 plus participants, so we would be needing 3-4 minutes to capture all the screens. So please be here, switch on your videos.
Everyone, please switch on your cameras. So, and let's wear a big smile because we have taken a pledge to protect our ozone layer, right? Yes.
So Priya, can you come a bit near to the camera?
Sir,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We are waiting for all of you to please switch on your videos.
That's a
I think
lovely
Kali is
smile.
the only one.
That's beautiful.
Kali is the only one who is giving a
Kali is
very
the
good
only one wearing
smile.
a
All
big
others.
smile. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice.
Screen one captured, but still we could see a lot of people who have not switched on their
I
videos.
request, yeah, everyone to please switch on your videos. And let's take a group picture. Lovely, Shneep, Shikha, Sapna.
Seen to a lot of people are still, they have switched off their videos. So no issues. Let their name come in the screen.
Is it done, sir?
I'm on screen 3. Just one more screen left after this. Now I'm going to screen number 4.
All right.
So Dr. Wani, the homework is done now. Over to you.
Yes, Minnie. Good. Manshu, Himani. Others also, please switch on your cameras.
Rohan, why you have switched off your camera? Please switch on your video.
Sorry, sir, I can't hear you well.
I switched off his camera. He was here for a few seconds, then he went. We are almost done with the screenshots. So over to you, Dr. Wani.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, Thank you so much to Supriya ma'am and Nitesh sir for taking out time out of your busy schedule and enlightening us all upon this very important topic on ozone layer. Thank you so much, all the participants, for joining in. Thank you for your patience as well as giving your important time. Thank you, everyone. And let's have a lovely evening ahead with beautiful smiles and promise to protect our ozone layer and our environment, right? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Vani. Thank you so much.